In this video I want to show you guys how to make a health bar using a sprite sheet, and to do that we're going to use Maya. So what do I mean? I'm going to make a health bar to float above each unit in the game, and you can use these health bars for anything. If you're making a fighter or an FPS game, you can display health anywhere you like in the scene, and the scale goes down as the health decreases, and when the health gets to 0 the bar will totally be gone. And that's what we're going to do. You can create health bars in two ways in Unity. You could make an onGUI method and create a rectangle, apply a background image to it, and decrease the scale as the unit's health goes down. That's one way of doing it. But I think a nicer way is to use sprite sheets, because we can edit the health bar gradually as it goes down. We can apply more detail to it. We can hop into Photoshop easier and change the graphics. Just more flexible, I think, than on GUI. There might be more methods too to create a health bar, but I'm going to use the sprite sheet method. So in Maya, this is the default setup, and to create the actual health bar, I'm just going to drag out a rectangle in the perspective view. But when we're editing the size of the rectangle, we'll focus our attention on the front viewport, and I think that'll be long enough for our game. If anything, it's too long for our units. I'm going to make it a bit shorter. That'll do. So the first thing, I want to make this green. So I can assign an existing material, and I've got a lot here. I'm going to think I'll use a Lambert of 4. As you can see, it's green straight away. And if I hop into my attribute editor, I want to show you guys the special effects tab. We can apply a glow to this. It's currently at 0.1. If I render out this scene, the render view, I can see the glow very slightly. You can increase the intensity if you'd like, and I think it's a really nice way to add a bit more detail to the loader. So I want to export 100 frames. So when the user's health or the unit's health is at 100%, frame 1 will be called. When the user's health is at 25%, frame 75 will be called. You guys get the picture. It goes from 1 to 100. And to do that, we can open our animation settings. Playback start end can go from 1 to 100. And because 100 is a lot bigger than 48, the animation start end will automatically update. Save it out. Okay, so before I animate, I want to remove my pivot points. So hold D to do that, then hold V to vertex snap it, and then middle mouse click to the vertex. Boom. Now we can scale the objects nice and easily. So let's go to our animation shelf, add a keyframe here. Let's go to frame 100, add a keyframe there. In my channel box, I'm just going to change the scale X to 0. Boom. So as you can see, as we scroll through, if you look at the front view, the animation's playing. If I activate the perspective view, you guys will see it a bit easier. Gradually going down. So we have the sprites we need to do that, and that's all good. So let's jump into the render settings. To render out every single frame, we need to render a batch render. If we go to the render shelf, batch renders here. We need to do that a bit later. Let's go to our render settings, options, render settings, and let's just quickly change the preferences. I want to render out a PNG, if I can find the PNG. So we don't want to render out a single frame. We want to do the name, then the hash, then extension, frame 1 to 100. Going down, I want to render out my front viewport. And the presets, well, I want my width to be 128, let's say. Don't want it to be too long. So I'm going to put 30 for now as the height, and we can play around with the height in a sec. I'm going to render out this view for now, or the front. I'm going to activate the front view. So let's jump into the front view, render out this frame. As you can see, the width and height is quite good. It's not totally good. So I know a little trick here, guys. Highlight the object, press F to frame up. Boom. Now the width is okay, but the height is not. Let's go back to the render settings. Let's change the height to, I don't know, 22. Let's see if that'll work. And render out. Still a bit too thick. So just so the sprites don't merge onto each other, I want to add a little gap. Let's just go to the render settings again. Let's try 18. Let's see if that's good. That's really nice. So there's a tiny gap there. Actually, that's a shade of green. So third time lucky. Let's do 20 for the height, and zoom in. Okay, that'll do. It's because of the glow. Might want to remove the glow. Okay, so that's our sprites set up, and now we can go ahead and do our batch render. So click batch render, save things out, and in the background, if we open the console, Maya is rendering out everything, and because they're very small, it will not take very long. Here we go, rendering out 100 frames, and now I'm going to hop over to my documents, Maya projects, default, images, and here we go. Here's all our loaders. Boom, going down to frame 100. Awesome. So I've opened up my Spritesheet Maker software, totally free. If you guys want it, you can download it. If you can't find it, message me and I'll be happy to send it to you. So I'm going to open up my images, default images, getting all the graphics, opening them up, add all the images to our sprite sheet, column counts, let's do 10 just to keep things nice. So there'll be 10 sprites going across, 10 going down. Preview, that looks pretty damn good to me. Let's export the sprite sheet into our project. So I've got my web game engine, assets, sprite sheets. So I'm going to call this one unit health bar, if I can spell that. Unit health bar, that's cool, save it out. And that's all we need to do. That's our sprite sheet sorted out. I'm going to jump back into Unity now. Let's just check it's here. There it is. That's good. Looks pretty nice. But we don't have to leave it here. We can then hop into Photoshop if we wanted to. Open up the health bar. So this is what I mentioned when we first started the video. It's so easy to edit these health bars if we wanted to. For example, if we wanted to add a bit more detail, we could add a bit of noise, amount, I don't know, 5, and then we can zoom in, just adds a bit more texture to it. And if we wanted to make, I don't know, I want the last 10 frames to be red. So instead of messing around in Maya with all the colors and things, we can do it in Photoshop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got 8 frames at the bottom, even though they're very thin. Here we go. 9, 10. So we can select these, open up the hue saturation, and simply change the hue to change the color. So it's red in the last 10%. And if we get the 8, let's get 8 more, just for example. So 18, and then we can get maybe another 10, and then 2 more to make 30 graphics. And then we can say I want this one to be orange because we're getting to a dodgy health. We might want to do something about that. So here you go, maybe yellow would be nicer actually. Okay guys, get the picture here. So we can edit our health bars so easily. Save it out, boom, done. Now we can go back into Unity. Update, is it going to update? Yep. Or even though something looks a bit dodgy, let's just double check. Yeah, everything's fine, it's just Unity not showing it very well. And this is our health bar, guys. In the next video I want to actually code this in the game using our sprite manager. So I hope this has helped you out. Just a really nice way of creating a really cool health bar in using Maya. And feel free to add any shape you like, and you know, anything you like, guys. So thanks for watching the video. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.